The world premiere of Spring of the Vanishing is happening at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival tonight at 8 p.m. There will also be a screening at the Film Center Wednesday morning.
And we're joined right now by the documentary's director, Andrew Glazer, and the producer, Jay Weston Pippin. Good morning, guys. Thank you both for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I wanted to lead off with you, Andrew, with a question. Over 115,000 people, according to the Human Rights Network, went missing in 2024 in Mexico. And that number, you know, there's more that aren't even accounted for in that number. I wanted to ask you, your doc, it aims at uncovering the truth of what's happening down there. So how were you able to give clarity to families? And what did you discover with this documentary in terms of those numbers of what's happening?
Well, so the numbers are up to 2024, so it wasn't just in last year. And it is a staggering number. And with the film, we wanted to really at least take a bite at one reason for the disappearances. It's impossible, and it's a real confusing and muddy mess as to why people are going missing. And there's not just one culprit. And so we wanted to take a look at one particularly complicated case that everyone had anticipated that it was going to have been the narcos, and it was actually the guys who were supposed to be the good guys who were doing the killings.
And this theme it's very timely. I mean, we're talking U.S., Mexico, immigration, and everything. So I want to talk a little bit about what that means, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but also right now with the current state of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, people tend to think that the military were the incorruptible facet of the Mexican law enforcement authorities. There's no police in Nuevo Laredo because they were seen as corrupt. They were dissolved in 2008, and the military was placed there to be a more trustworthy partner for law enforcement. And the fact is that they can be brutal. They're trained to kill. They don't investigate cases. They don't know how to build evidence. They go and kill, and that's what we saw. So in the recent context of the new Mexican president agreeing to send more troops to the border as a deal to avoid the tariffs that Trump had threatened. There are going to be more military there, and we don't know what that's going to lead to.
Weston, for you, in terms of producing and in the standpoint of how you had to produce this movie, what kind of challenges did you encounter?
So working in Nuevo Laredo is extremely challenging. I mean, when we walk across the border, there are people who take your pictures and send it to the little cartel intelligence center. Andrew and I sat down on a park bench just right across the border. People come up, ask what your name is, what you're doing there, and then they kind of check you out and let you go on about your business. So I think just working in that environment is really tough for one. And then also it's just, you know, it's a pretty heavy subject, and it's just sad.
Yeah. You're both journalists. I mean, you've been on the side of reporting everything. It's tough, it's heavy. Why did you decide to tell this story?
For me, I come from investigative journalism, and I'm always looking, now that I do documentaries and television news, long form, I'm always looking for ways of getting those stories, the same stories that I investigated across, but in a cinematic narrative way that people can connect to. So I read Weston's fantastic articles in Politico, and I had done my last film in Nuevo Laredo, and when you work somewhere, you tend to bring it with you. And so when I saw his articles, I saw a way of delving into all these big topics that we've talked about through the story of really one family, one mother, and one missing kid.
What about for you?
For me, I was in about 2010, 2011, I was in Juarez a bunch, and we would go with a group of local journalists and kind of chase the murders throughout the night. There were about 8 a day, so it wasn't hard. And every once in a while you would come across a family whose kid had been killed by the military, or who the military had knocked on their door and just taken them. They'd never been seen again. So it had been on my radar, something like this for a while.
Okay, and now it's all coming to fruition. World premiere tonight. Congratulations on that. I know everyone is really excited to see it. So you can watch the screenings of Spring of the Vanishing at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival's Film Center tonight at 8 p.m. and Wednesday morning at 8:40 a.m. Thank you again, both of you, for being here, and congratulations.
Thanks for having us.